The impeachment investigation of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo going beyond harassment claims, with the state's nursing home deaths and corruption allegations also under scrutiny. But while allegations of his nursing home scandal pile up, he is still leading the White House's weekly COVID-19 call. Janice Dean and New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik have been two of the most outspoken voices trying to get the governor to be held accountable, and join us right now. Janice, are you surprised there wasn't some pushback from the White House about him leading this call?
No, this governor has been getting away with it for almost a year now, and we've been wanting accountability, answers. There are several investigations into Governor Cuomo and the fact that he covered up the numbers of the total number of seniors that died in their elder care facilities. 9,000 COVID-positive patients were put into these elder care facilities. I lost both my father-in-law and my mother-in-law almost a year now, and all we want is answers. And I realize the Me Too movement is important. He should never treat women that way. It's part of his personality, though, is to make people feel demeaned and small. But I don't want people to lose track of the fact that we have lost over 15,000 of our precious seniors. They need to be remembered, and we need an investigation to continue, a federal one, an FBI one, and the Justice Department one.
Congresswoman Stefanik, you believe Democrats in Albany are slow walking this thing. They're saying a lot, but they're not doing a lot.
They are slow walking this. So Janice is right. The nursing home scandals, that is an impeachable offense. And the sexual harassment and sexual abuse scandals are also an impeachable offense. In both cases, I fundamentally believe this is about corruption, and this is about abuse of power and taking advantage of those who are most vulnerable, whether it's 15,000 seniors who have lost their lives, or whether it's women who worked for his administration who were victimized and abused. Democrats in Albany are saying they support his resignation, but now they are avoiding moving towards an impeachment process. They need to move forward as quickly as possible. These victims have come forward. Families who've lost loved ones in nursing homes have come forward. And the New York AG, the Attorney General, has already put out a report on the nursing home scandal and the fact that this governor obstructed justice and withheld information from the public.
Yeah, so, Janice, that's true. And the first interview with the AG's office went about 4 hours. Now this story comes out in the New York Times today, and that there was a full-on, basically, push to discredit Lindsey Boylan, the first accuser. While you're pushing on the nursing home, she came out and says, listen, I'm sexually harassed by this guy. There was a letter put together to kind of discredit her and try to link her with Trump supporters. Don't you find that outrageous?
I do, but that's what this governor does. He bullies, he makes people feel small, and that's part of his MO. He did it to me, he's done it to the families, he's called us a death cult, told me I'm not, experienced on anything except maybe the weather. Well, I am experienced. I'm experienced in loss of both of my in-laws that we haven't gotten answers for. That's just him. He bullies, he makes people feel like he's the most powerful guy in the room. It's not surprising that he's going to hopefully go down for these kinds of tactics.
Congresswoman, does it also surprising now that finally the governor of New Jersey and the governor of Pennsylvania and the governor of Michigan are getting the same, very similar scrutiny? Why did you put them back? Why you were warned not to in New Jersey? It could result in mass deaths. It did, and he did. Same thing in Pennsylvania. They saved their parents and grandparents, but they didn't save others.
Well, they should face investigations. And again, as you remember, the mainstream media was holding Governor Cuomo up as, this bright, shining light. New Yorkers knew otherwise, particularly the thousands of New Yorkers who lost loved ones. So unfortunately, Democratic governors across the country, rather than abiding by CDC and CMS guidelines, followed Governor Cuomo's illegal edict forcing nursing homes to take positive COVID patients. So those governors should face investigations. And I want to point out, Janice Dean is right. When you asked her about the smearing tactics by this governor, Janice and many of her fellow advocates have faced this. This is not new from Governor Cuomo. This is who he is. This is how they function, and it's fundamentally an abuse of power. Another issue is they do that to elected officials. While I don't agree with Mayor de Blasio on much when it comes to policy, he was right to say that pretty much every elected official in New York State has dealt with Governor Cuomo, who's either said something like, "I want to destroy you," or threatening political malpractice.
Absolutely. And with Congressman or Assemblyman Kim, they're saying, what about you and nail salons? What's going on here? So they try to find something that you allegedly are vulnerable on and try to take you down. It's almost like mob-like tactics. Elise Stefanik, Janice Dean, thanks so much. Appreciate you continuing the fight.